Dun dun. Dun dun. Dun dun. And yep.
Red button.
Oh, I haven't hit the other.
Oh, this red button.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The new red button.
So many.
Buttons. Oh yeah, everything was ready to go. There was that one file folder open because I was still transferring folders from last night and trying to get ready to do something. Good morning!
Yeah, good morning.
How you doing, Sugar?
Man, I am really glad I don't own a home in Rockdale County.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too far into that, but they raising taxes around here, y'all.
Yeah,
and
I'm going to touch on it just a little bit real quick. I'm not going to go into it in depth right now. Last night I went out and covered the protests in front of the Board of Commissioners meeting. There was a hearing last night for public comment on the proposed increase of property taxes. And Rockdale County is looking at an increase between the Board of Commissioners and the Board of Education. Around 58% increase in their property taxes. And you know,
but it's only like a 0.13% in your millage rate. It depends on how you look at the math.
Yeah, it depends on how you look at the math. And Dr. Doreen Williams, who explains things to us plebs because she, in her infinite wisdom, has acquired a PhD in education. Oh, that's right. That's right. She has a PhD in education in one of the lowest ranked education counties in the country.
Come on, man. Come on.
Oh, anyway, yeah. She explained to us that we don't want a forensic audit in this county because if we have a forensic audit, that lowers the county's credit score and it'll make it harder for us to borrow money. And, you know, I'm just standing outside because they wouldn't let me in the building screaming, if a forensic audit's if the only thing that happens is it stops you from borrowing more money, that's a win, dumbass.
I know, right? It reminds me of the people who say you can't audit the Fed and be like, yes, you can. You can absolutely audit the Fed. And
you should. You should audit the absolute shit out of the Fed immediately before you just shut it down. Abolish it.
Well, that's a whole different thing. You never abolish the Fed. It won't happen. But you and I come from a world of insurance, and at any point in time, we can be audited in the world of insurance. It's just part of it.
Yeah, I haven't sold insurance in 7 years. I can still be audited.
No, you probably can't still be audited because you're outside of the statute of limitations of any fraud you might have committed. So that's probably the end
of it.
I'm pretty sure. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
The point is, an audit is sort of like the good fences make good neighbors thing. And when people are like, oh, no, it would be bad for you to audit me. No, hold up, motherfucker. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
And I'm going to say this one last thing before we move on to the story, because it is Woke Wednesday and we've got some Woke Wednesday to cover.
Definitely woke stuff.
So the thing that Cameron's saying there about, whoa, you don't need to look over. Okay. In a court of law, you're talking about a criminal proceeding. You have the Fifth Amendment right not to incriminate yourself. And often an unscrupulous lawyer will attempt to abuse the perception there and make the argument that the right to not incriminate yourself, it is not a full-on right to remain silent. It's the right to not incriminate yourself. can be construed as attempting to withhold information, attempting to obfuscate your criminality, right? And that, we saw this in the Rittenhouse case. The judge absolutely excoriated Little Binger over trying to do that. He tried to make the jury assume guilt where none existed by pointing to Rittenhouse's consistent invocation of the Fifth Amendment. But let me remind you of something. That is a right. That is a natural right. A right that man has endowed on him by his creator as a natural entity. It is a right, which in this case it is important to recall, does not extend to government entities. Government entities are always naked to oversight. And the law is not supposed to protect government entities from the clean light of day in the obfuscation of wrongdoing.
Scroll the thing back over. Let's say hey to some people and then get going because we
Steve
got
drew first blood.
Rebel Jack came close, and then we've got Scrimshaw Rose. Good morning. And somewhere else in the thread, Steve said something to the effect of, "It's getting kind of tough to say individual hellos. So hello to everybody." You didn't even make it 10 minutes into the show, so you still have coffee to fidget with.
I do.
Shame. So. Scrimshaw Rose, Sean Stryker, Rebel Jack, the lovely Daniel Munoz from the TPS report, Pacho
Good morning,
Ramirez.
Danny. I missed your show. Oh, wait, no, I didn't miss your show last night. I was doing something else, but y'all weren't on. It was Tuesday.
That's right. You didn't miss.
Jesus, is it already Wednesday?
Yeah, it's Woke Wednesday. You built the thumbnail.
I was busy.
Building a thumbnail that said Wednesday.
In my defense, Woke Wednesday is in the description, not the thumbnail.
Oh, and then Pit Danny is with us. Overwhelming message, forensic audit. Yeah, again, that's one of those things. It's like you took the thing away. Oh, I see. I see what happened.
I made it stupid and I'm fixing it right now.
Okay. And then let's see. Steve again. Scrimshaw Rose again. Aha. Your mom has joined us. That's fantastic.
Good morning, Mom. I love you.
Okay, so it is Woke Wednesday, and well, we have woke stuff to. Oh, that was weird. We have woke stuff to look. We're just gonna have to add it later. We got a show to do.
The wokeness is weird with these ones.
We got a show to do.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, it's Woke Wednesday, and
it's done. So, Alex says he did a This Week at Rockdale last night, just picking on the commissioners. I'll have to go check that out. And you know, Alex, my dude, we need to get together and just sit down and have a cold beer. Like I ain't even talking about show stuff or Rockdale stuff or politics stuff.
I would talk about show
and
stuff. I'm
sure we will. But I miss you, brother. We
Yeah,
need to get together and have a cold. We need to just sit down and have a cold beer.
Yeah, Alex is fun to hang out with. We should fix that. Okay, so one more time. It's Woke Wednesday, and we've got some woke stuff to get to. In fact, I would say that the Democrats are going so woke, they're going to guarantee that Herschel Walker wins here in Georgia.
Yes.
How's that?
Yes. Let's get to the clip and then talk about what happened. So this is one of those people that if you haven't heard of him, God,
Good for you.
I'm jealous of you. Here you go.
Back with me is Ellie Mastal, justice correspondent at The Nation and author of the New York Times best-selling book, Allow Me to Retort, A Black Guy's Guide to the Constitution.
No. Look, we've already chewed through 10 of our 30 minutes. Keep
Ellie,
going.
honestly, my beloved Georgia, what are the folks doing out there? How is this still a toss-up? Because the poll by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution released Wednesday indicates Warnock topping Walker at 46% to 43%, with roughly 3% of voters saying they'll back Libertarian candidate Chase Oliver and 8% undecided.
Okay, before I let this fat piece of shit open his mouth, I just want to remind you that they've just clearly indicated that
My beloved Georgia.
These people, in the same
What's
way
wrong
that
with
the
you,
left
you stupid
prefers
people?
Uvalde to Greenwood Park,
What's wrong with you, you stupid people in my beloved Georgia?
in the middle of a recession, prefer the guy that voted for the policies that created the recession. All right? Democrats expect poor people to vote for them.
Which is why they need more poor
Which
people.
is why they need more poor people.
Make it make sense for me.
Dude.
Yeah, first of all, I just want
Oh. That's right. You need to see this fat fucker.
to thank the GOP for nominating a running back from Dallas to run in Georgia and a TV doctor from New Jersey to run in Pennsylvania. That's thank you guys, right?
Yes.
But
You're
yes,
welcome.
it's going to be a close election in Georgia because
No, it won't.
Walker has the backing of the Republicans. Now you ask, why are Republicans backing this man who's so clearly
'Cause he's
unintelligent,
awesome?
who so clearly doesn't have independent thoughts? But that's actually the reason. Walker's
Right.
going to do what he's told. And that's what Republicans like. That's what Republicans want from their Negroes.
No, dude, that was. That's what. That's what. Look, before we get into the analysis, I feel like we should just go straight to Herschel Walker's super classy response that is pretty much going to guarantee him victory in Georgia. Because what's going on with my beloved Georgia? We don't like it when arrogant pricks talk to us that way. Just for starters.
Yeah. So Herschel had a little something to say about this. Oh, I'm going to have to restart the clip because I was watching it earlier.
Good morning. You know, a lot of people have been asking me to say
Look at that
something
big
about
smile,
a man on
class act.
MSNBC that called me the N-word. Here's what I got to say about that. Shame on MSNBC and shame on him. I'm going to pray for both of them.
Oh, bless their
Because they
little
need
hearts.
Jesus. When I saw what he said, it reminded me of the differences between myself and my opponents, Senator Warnock, and the left-wing crazy that believe America is fundamentally a bad country full of racist people.
That right there.
Look, let the whole thing play because everything about his response is absolute
They
pitch
want to divide
perfection.
us, turn us against each other. We have our problems, but we can solve them together. You know, this is a good country, full of good people. With God's help, we're going to bring the people of Georgia back together. Let's make this a great day. God bless.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
absolutely pitch perfect response for starters. Is there any question? But I know you want to talk about how it's the Democrats that want us divided. So please take it away, my good sir.
TPS says you need to read that message, Cameron. So please do. While I cover this real quick, he really hit the crux of the issue there, and a big chunk of it is this: Democrats believe that America is a bad country full of bad people who are all racists. Now, we've seen the numbers, right? We've seen the Pew study that shows us that by a wide margin, Democrats consume only Democrat left-wing media. Independents consume a general mix, and conservatives tend to consume a much broader mix of conservative and left-wing media. Now, there's two reasons for that. Conservatives are interested in what the other side is arguing, and quite frankly, we are involuntarily exposed to it often.
It's difficult to get away from.
Yeah, it's hard to not be stuck in front of CNN in a doctor's office or a dentist office or a VA clinic, et cetera, or the airport. Now they lost their deal with the airport, and that was like 50% of their ratings.
Right.
But quite simply, the Democrats believe that the country is full of bad people and racists because, like conservatives, they surround themselves with people who are of similar like minds. And so Democrats are only ever around bad people and racists. They surround themselves with people that they agree with, and the people that they agree with are bad people and racists. Shit's not complex.
It's really not. Like, it's not a joke that the Democrats want, the Democrats say, oh, we're the party of the poor people, and Republicans are the party of the rich people. Like, so Republicans want more rich people and Democrats want more poor people because that's who votes for them.
Right.
Huh? Before I get into, because I got a couple of comments I want to make. Will you play the last clip, because it really puts the button on it.
I want. This is to help you guys understand who this Eli Mistel is, who this person is, right? So
I'm sure. Yeah.
It's certainly not sacred. All right,
He's talking about the Constitution.
This is the Constitution.
Here.
Yeah.
He's just been asked, is the Constitution a sacred document? And the computer froze.
Is it a living document? Is it a sacred document?
It's certainly not sacred. All right, let's start there. The Constitution is kind of trash.
That's who we're talking about. It's this guy. Okay, this guy has a Juris Doctorate from Harvard Law,
which is part of the problem.
And who does he sound like?
Brian Stelter?
Does he sound like Barack Obama?
Oh, yes.
Who said that he hates the Constitution because it restricts the actions of the government?
Well,
or when he's talking about Herschel, does he sound more like the current former vice president who said that Barack Obama is the first clean, articulate Negro in public life?
Well, hey,
is Herschel the second one? Is that what you're getting at there, my man?
Well, no. Would Joe Biden say about the election in Georgia, if you don't know who you're voting for, you ain't white?
Yeah, that's in the description.
Really? Okay. All right. I didn't even know.
Yeah. This guy right here, this guy believes that Herschel Walker is not black because he didn't vote for Joe Biden.
Okay, so a couple of comments that I want to make, and one, not entirely related, but I feel like needs to be pointed out. That whole thing about, I'm so glad they nominated a running back. Yes, one of the greatest running backs to ever play the sport. The running back who carried Georgia's early 80s national championship quite literally on his leg. Like, Herschel Walker was the X factor that gave Georgia its win in the early 80s. Okay, so there's that. So let's be clear. That's one reason why the state of Georgia wants to vote for Herschel Walker. But, you know,
Sean, don't tempt me.
Herschel dabbled in MMA for fun. I'm just going to say it. Eli, God, I can't even pronounce this guy's stupid fucking name.
We're going to call him Eli out of respect to my daughter.
Fair enough. Mitzel, whatever, the snowfro. There we go.
Well, Anarchy says this guy's morning routine must be sticking his fingers in a light socket.
Yes.
Like Jack Nicholson in Anger Management, he's got the toothbrush in this hand,
okay,
and the follicle stimulating electrode.
So anyhow, the snowfro wouldn't dare say that to Herschel Walker's face. You know why?
No.
You know why? Because Herschel Walker, you wouldn't want to get fresh with that man. That big smile, you know what that is? That's the smile of a man who knows he has the capacity to do violence and has chosen not to. That's that smile.
I'd love to step in the ring with Herschel. I really would.
I would.
And I'm not making a claim about how that fight would go. I'm saying I'd like to have that fight. It would be awesome.
Okay. But here's the other thing. Okay. And this is not just it's the Democrats who are actually racist, not us. And, you know, we were talking about it, I think, even on yesterday's show. They say we're the ones who are obsessed with sex and race. And it's actually them that keep wanting to sexualize and racialize everything. Like, I remember, for example, I've donated to one political campaign ever in my entire life. And it's not Donald Trump. It's Herman Cain. I didn't know he was black when I donated to him. See, I'd only ever heard him on the radio, so...
No, I've heard him on the radio, too, and you could tell Herman was black on the radio.
Oh. No, don't spoil my joke. I was going to run that joke into the ground. Obviously, I knew Herman Cain was black. Okay? I
miss Herman, man. He was a good guy.
Yes.
I met him a couple times, and you know what probably the most important thing to know about Herman Cain is?
He's way bigger than he looks.
He's nearly my size,
Right.
and he's a hugger.
Right. So, well, was stupid virus of unknown origin.
Yeah, we should nuke China because they killed.
No,
they killed Herman.
don't. Stop.
For no
That
other
is
reason.
Parody. That's a joke. Parody. Joke. Stop. Thank you. Okay. I, as somebody who's lived in Georgia for the majority of his life and has voted right wing for the majority of his life, have donated to one political campaign ever in his life, and that was Herman Cain. Okay? And shit like this, they're going to hand Herschel Walker the victory here in Georgia, because one thing that so many people are tired of, and it's one thing that Donald Trump tapped into, is politicians sound perfect. Barack Obama sounded perfect. Mitt Romney sounded perfect. And they were, I'm going to be nice and say they were just this side of useless. Okay?
Wow, that's incredibly generous.
Generous. Yeah, I know. I used the correct word.
Like somebody who would donate to a winning political campaign. And I do mean winning. Herman Cain absolutely had a winning political campaign. Minus one spate of false sexual accusations, which evaporated upon convenience.
So anyhow, okay, we're actually to the point where having normal people, warts and all, are preferable. And the fact that Herschel, he's clearly unintelligent. No, dipshit. He clearly doesn't know how to talk like you. Okay? And there's a difference. There's a big difference. Okay? But clearly unintelligent? No, bullshit. He talks like a Southern man. That doesn't mean he's dumb. Oh, I see. You're making a whole bunch of assumptions that are racist, in fact. So, anyhow, look, just pitch perfect response. And this belongs in Woke Wednesday, because this guy, this Harvard graduate with a Juris Doctorate, okay, so he's got all the pieces of paper that say supposedly he is smart. This snowfro probably guaranteed Herschel's victory here in Georgia, because in Georgia, this is, and then we can move on to the other things, but this is important. In Georgia, Republicans tend to poll behind right up until basically election day. And then if they were polling behind by like 3 points, they end up winning by like 3 points. Because if you...
Well, because the polls are always left hard weighted.
Yes.
If the polls say the Republicans are losing by 1 or 2 points, what they mean is the Democrats gave up.
Okay, and let's be honest, these same polls also say that Brian Kemp is going to drive a Mack truck in between the gap of Stacey Abrams' teeth. Oh, yes, that was awesome.
That
Nobody
shouldn't be
even
hard to
said the
do.
word.
Keep talking.
Oh,
Do your show.
hey, baby. How
Yes.
you doing?
We're...
So,
Those same polls say that Brian Kemp is going to drive a Mack truck in between the gap
I'd
of Stacey
steal a hot
Abrams' teeth.
stove. Thank you, babe. Love you.
What? And so Brian Kemp is going to beat Stacey Abrams by 50,000, 100,000 votes, but
Well, he's going
Herschel-
to beat her by that much.
Right. Well, no, but I'm saying is but Herschel Walker.
I have 2 whole teeth in that
Okay,
much
all right.
space. I'm sorry.
Herschel Walker is not going to beat Raphael Warnock. Like, hero of Georgia is not going to beat Raphael Warnock, but Brian Kemp, whom many conservatives in this state are lukewarm on, is nah. And if there was any question, shit like this from the Snowfro guarantees it.
Indeed. My
So-
mother says, good morning to my favorite daughter-in-law. That's sweet, Mom. I love you.
Anyhow.
We're going to do 2 more for Woke Wednesday, and
Okay, so let's start with they're not 2 more for Woke Wednesday. Say that one more time. We're gonna do,
2 more for Woke Wednesday.
assuming we don't stroke out on the first one.
Assuming we don't stroke out on the first one.
Okay.
I
so-
have 4 kids.
I know, right? Yeah,
You
I
ready?
know. I mean, no, none of you are ready, but I mean,
Okay, before I do anything, I want to double check and make sure that this isn't going to blow out the headphone users, including ourselves, by the way, because apparently they mixed this sumbitch.
right.
This is from Libs of TikTok, which means that it's from somebody else, and Libs of TikTok reposted it to remind us all, hey guys, this is what your Eli Mistles are into. That's a kid. That's a child. That's not an underage adult. And that's all the fat men and ladies clothing I can handle for now. I'm going to skip to the end so you can hear what happens. But you know, it's all the fault of those evil capitalists, because they're only interested in money. And oh my God, yes, this happened in California. And I'm gonna back the clip up just a little bit to a kind of wider shot so you can see. I want you to pay attention to what you're looking at there. Do you see what that is? Do you see what that is, Cameron?
Mall?
A giant public space. Yes, it's a mall. Right. This isn't just some trashy strip club that happens to be supporting predators and monsters. No. This is a freaking mall.
But they're not coming for the children. They're not trying to brainwash your children. They're not trying to hypersexualize your children. They're not trying to confuse your children or turn your children.
You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked? Funny, just this once.
Okay.
No, they're not trying to.
Okay.
They're not trying to do anything.
Okay.
Anything like that.
Okay.
Nothing like that.
Nothing at all. Cause man, and just everything about it. You know, I saw a meme that really encapsulated it. The question is not, why won't you bring your kids to Drag Queen Story Hour? The question is, why do drag queens need an audience of children? And that is, yeah. In fact, the left likes to pass around this other meme called the paradox of tolerance, where if you are tolerant toward us evil Nazi right-wingers, you end up in a death camp because of your paradox of tolerance. Oh,
you mean Bernie's staff?
No, what I was going to say was, you mean like the paradox of tolerance of how you want to sexualize and queerify everything in our culture to the point to where now, if you watch that I watched that video several times because I was looking for subtle clues, and I'm
getting worried about you.
No, just hear me out. Because I felt like once the first parent put money on the stage, there were other parents who were socially pressured to do the same. Because now, okay, I think this is fucking weird. However, my peer group clearly wants me to do it. So am I the bad guy for being fucking weird? Or am I the bad guy for not following the social pressure of my peer group? And but you totally can't spread a social contagion that way at all. It's not like shame is one of the most effective tactics in human history.
Right. It's not like you could convince a country to, I don't know, genocide a group of people based on the length of their noses by publicly shaming people into genociding a group of people based on their noses.
Was
that adequate vagary?
I think that was adequate vagary, and I don't look. Yeah, it just. Yes, and your fantastic wife says one of us.
But this is pure cult mentality. You. Oh God!
Grab your kids and get the fuck out of there. Don't bring your kids there in the first place.
Right. Don't bring your kids there in the first place. Go watch Lula Rich. Okay. I know. I don't need to watch Lula Rich. I am somebody that had Lula Rich help ruin his life. Lula Rich is a documentary on the cultism of multi-level marketing companies, right? And guys, it's eye-opening. And I've been studying a lot of the cult behavior stuff lately, and it's actually fascinating.
Just
and
research.
Part of what is part of
Just harmless research.
Well, part of what is part of the reason for my study. I've studied cults for a long time. I've been studying it more lately relative to some of the stuff that's going on in politics. But there's some stuff within the way that cults groom people to be members of cults that's also part of the activity of psychological warfare in taking a POW and trying to convert them into a functional informant. And sometimes that even results in releasing them back into the wild, as it were, so that they can inform more. And a lot of that is constant, positive, magical, wishful thinking. Danny and Alex were talking about this with the Lula Rich documentary the other night in a lot of detail. Danny's pretty smart on the cult stuff, but I don't think she has my experience from the interrogation world that's associated with it, obviously. But although I just had a vision of Danny doing the whole interrogation circuit, and let me tell you something, that is something I would like to commit to film for your entertainment and amusement, because it would be hilarious. Because Danny is brilliant and a spitfire and about 3 feet tall, and it would be hilarious.
Hey guys, we love you. No, answer the question.
Or I will eat your soul.
Anyhow, but cults. And speaking
Thank you, Danny. May I have another?
Oh, wow. She just defriended us. Woo. Okay.
No, babe. All that I've seen of it is what I watched with you. I promise. Danny and Alex were talking about it the other night. I've seen enough of it to know what they're talking about.
Okay, so
it's a lot of watching. I don't have time for all that, dear.
So the cult and the brainwashing, you know what? That feels like a good place to
go ahead and transition to the next piece.
Well, to transition and then detransition.
Apparently, because Demi Lovato updates her pronouns. How's that for a transition?
Yeah,
it's just all about respect. And when we say updates her pronouns, okay, why should we care about this? By a wide margin, I don't care about Demi Lovato, but I am deeply concerned about woke culture and social contagion. I'm trying to raise kids in this world, and the enemy is trying to kill them. Mine, just like yours, children in particular. I want to, just real quick, I want to go back to something that you were saying about the last thing. Why do they need to talk to children? Right, this I'm going to say is a little less severe than what we were talking about just a minute ago with the drag queens.
Only by comparison.
Right, only by comparison. But, and this is part of this. This is the top. This is kind of where you scooch up to the edge on your skis after you get off the lift. You know, right before you lean forward and go down the slippery slope.
I've never been.
This is the top. This is the top of the slope, right? But that stuff with the drag queen kids, that is somewhere on the slippery slope. It's not the bottom of it.
No, good God, no.
We have not yet exhausted their narcissistic psychopathy.
No, the bottom of it is Visa having to threaten Pornhub because there's a 13-year-old girl on their website.
Yeah, apparently. We didn't even get to that bit, and we're not going to have time for that one today.
I'm just throwing it in there, but it's.
But Cameron made an important point, but he didn't take it far enough. He asked the question, why do these drag queens need a drag queen story, or why do they need to talk to kids? It's not like they're out there doing awareness campaigns with adults where they're trying to advertise and market drag shows to adults and increase attendance and revenue at shows that are targeted at adults for sexually explicit entertainment, which you can have some problems with, but you're talking about consenting parties there, and that's a whole nother matter.
Yeah, we can't.
But the fact that they're not doing the trans the kids thing even in tandem or subordinately to that. They're doing exclusively the trans the kids work. And this is one of the major reasons that since the late 90s, early 2000s, when it was super important that everybody know the difference between a transgender, a transsexual, a transvestite, and a drag queen, and that those were 4 distinct categories, and that those distinctions were important, and you needed to know them if you wanted to be a decent person and not a total bigoted monster. You needed to understand these 4 things, and that needed to be a part of the way that you talk to people. And then many of us learned that and tried to, okay, so I can be tolerant and polite and whatever with these people. And then they changed the rules again. And the rule change was we're going to muddy all those distinctions. Now it's all the same thing.
Well, they don't just change the rules, they change the definitions. Sort of like how we're totes not in a recession, guys, because some of the
changed the definition.
Yeah, because like, okay, fine, 2 quarters of negative growth, but there are other things that are good, like the stock market's going good. Wait a minute, the same stock market that you want to trash. Okay, I got you.
And
I got you. So let me, while you're pulling that up, let me just say this. I asked a question, and I feel like the question itself has the implication that goes far enough. Like, just think, why does a drag queen need your children to be in attendance to read Green Eggs and Ham, or any of the drag and homosexual specific children's books that are coming out now? Because that's not fucking weird at all, okay?
And those are for sale on Amazon, while Matt Walsh's book, Johnny the Walrus, is not.
So, but here's the deal, okay? It's the stretching of the Overton window. What's going on with Demi Lovato, I think, is awful, and it's pretty obvious that she's been through some trauma and abuse and is reaching out to... I mean, she came from Disney, so God only knows what happened to her as she was growing up.
Right.
And I'll throw in a point. A friend of mine said, oh, no, she's changed her pronouns back now that she's lost weight and has a decent haircut. And I was like, savage. Okay.
A decent haircut?
That's, well, look, we're... Okay. But no, it's the stretching
I guess
of the...
farts are subjective.
It's the stretching of the Overton window. If we're being slapped with Drag Queen Story Hour, well, Demi Lovato not being able to make up her mind about what she wants her freaking pronouns to be, that's actually, that's not the weirdest thing I've heard today. And so that's what it is. The left... Mark Levin wrote about this in Liberty and Tyranny. The left is the master of the long game. They can accept taking 2 steps forward and 1 step backward as long as they continue to march on toward their goal.
Correct. And you'll have to forgive me, I'm dying over here. We turned the fans off at the studio for the benefit of the audio production. And, well, that doesn't change me being a fat boy in Georgia in August.
Sean Stryker says stretching is a... poor word choice. That might have to get... Can we give that top comment? That's... Because I would argue that was the correct... Oh, Anarchy Television, near and dear to my heart. Reminds me of the Borg from Star Trek. You will be assimilated. Resistance is futile. Yes, and you will be made to care. So, in all seriousness, I'm going to say something positive, and I genuinely mean this. Hopefully, Demi Lovato realizes that she's a girl and that it's okay to just be a girl and that it might even actually be okay to engage in activities that are traditionally feminine, and maybe even one day can take that wealth and fame and platform that she has and can find herself a good, solid partner and do things that women find to be deeply satisfying, like procreating. I'm just saying. And if that's misogynist, fine. Number 1 misogynist. Me and Matt Walsh could be on a fucking billboard together.
Yeah,
sure.
And, we'll let you guys in on a little secret. Many of you already know this. If you happen to be a lefty who stumbled on this show, here's a little secret.
Congratulations. It's okay. The light's supposed to be bright. It's supposed to be.
I like procreating. Did quite a bit of it, and I'm not being silly and making a dirty joke here either. I'm actually talking about the work of raising children. It is deeply and spiritually satisfying, much akin to the vital work of selfing, vis-a-vis Kierkegaard. Make you some babies. It will make you a better person.
Yeah.
It will make you a better and happier person.
More tired
because
person. But
it's what you are for. And I mean that in all the implications of it. It is what you are intended biologically for. It is what God wants for you. And it is the thing that you support morally, whether you understand and believe that to be true or not. It is what you are for in every shape of the word.
So anyhow, we're like 10 minutes past, but we did manage to squeeze everything in. It's Woke Wednesday, and yeah. Hey, Chris did eventually drop the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description.
I did.
And I promise the locals thing is coming. Give he and I just a little bit more and a little bit more time, and we'll have call-in shows, we'll have local shows, we'll do all that. And then Alex asks right here at the end, did we see Alex Jones testify yesterday?
No, but I'm going to be looking for that later.
Yeah, that's one of the things that might make good fodder for tomorrow's show, because Alex just keeps being right.
It's not you, Alex, the other Alex.
Well,
I mean, you too, but
yeah. Okay,
yeah.
I just got... No, not you too, because they're Irish, not British.
Well, we know this other Alex, and he's huge, but he's not often right. Now, he's not necessarily wrong, but he ain't right.
Okay. All right.
Y'all be safe out there. We love you, and we'll see you tomorrow.